Hello, everyone. Today we're going to cover Chapter 15, Digital Forensics. These are the key objectives covered for the CompTIA Security Plus exam. Let's do a quick overview of the concepts or kind of core concepts for digital forensics. The purpose of digital forensics is to investigate and analyze systems to determine what happened. We use digital forensics for supporting internal investigations, incident response, legal holds, and a variety of other things. Let's cover legal holds and e-discovery. Legal holds are essentially notices to preserve data and records in anticipation of litigation. This can include things like backups, paper documents, and electronic files. E-discovery or electronic discovery. E-discovery. This is an electronic process that allows parties in a legal case to obtain evidence from each other. Let's cover EDRM. That stands for Electronic Discovery Reference Model. The main purpose of EDRM is to establish structured processes for electronic discovery. Let's cover the 9 stages of the EDRM model. First on the list, information governance. The idea here is we are assessing and managing existing data. Identification. We have to locate electronically stored information. The idea here is we want to know what we have and where it is. Third on the list, we need to ensure that data isn't altered or destroyed. Fifth, collection. We need to gather data for processing. 6, processing. Remove irrelevant data, format for review. Next, review. Ensure that data includes all required information. Analysis. Identify topics, terms, and key parties. Production. Share data with legal parties. Presentation. Present data for court testimony or expert analysis. You may also encounter issues in a cloud environment or where you're utilizing cloud services. The tools you're using may not be compatible or may simply not be allowed to be active in that specific cloud space. You may also require specialized tools to work in a cloud environment. Some data is more volatile than others. For example, data stored on RAM may have a shorter lifespan for you to recover it than something that is on storage, like a hard drive. This is kind of a rough priority list of data order of volatility. We're going to start with data that's a little bit more fleeting and harder to capture, and then end with stuff that is a little bit more long-term. Up first, CPU cache and registers. Highly volatile and rarely captured due to continuous change. Next, we have ephemeral data. This can include things like process tables, kernel stats, ARP caches, etc. Up next, we have random access memory. This can contain things like encryption keys, application data, and other transient information. Swap and page files. Disk space used for memory supplementation. Changes quickly, provides insight into running processes. Files and disk data. Main focus of investigation, capturing the entire disk helps recover deleted files and residual artifacts. Operating systems can also offer valuable insight. We can have things like registries or other system components that may offer valuable insights. This is particularly true on Windows machines. Some smart devices may also contain information, smartphones, tablets, IoT devices, anything that may have an embedded system. They can often hold critical forensic data. VM snapshots. These can also offer important forensic artifacts that offer historical states of virtual machines. Network traffic and logs. Provides detail on sent and received data, protocols, and ports used. We may also have artifacts. These can be like physical items, include things like devices, printouts, or other media that could offer some useful data. I know we covered a lot more than what was just on the graphic there. Just wanted to provide as many useful sources as I possibly could here. Let's quickly cover chain of custody. The purpose of chain of custody is to track access, transfer, and handling of forensic data. It can be something like a simple sign-off form. Each time an artifact is used or accessed, someone has to sign that they were the one that interacted with that specific item. The primary benefit is this ensures that the evidence can be reliably presented in the legal proceeding. We know who accessed what and when they accessed it. Primary goal is we want to ensure the integrity of our data. Data must remain intact and unaltered throughout the forensic process. Cloud forensics and key considerations. We may want right to audit clauses. The purpose here is to provide the ability to audit a cloud provider either directly or through a third-party agency. There may also be regulatory or jurisdictional concerns. Different places have different regulatory requirements. So depending on the cloud provider's location, there may be a different operational jurisdiction there. So when it comes to data replication and storage, we may find ourselves in a situation where we're dealing with conflicting laws across different regions. Sometimes we can put in place contractual clauses to help protect our data. Other times we can use technical measures like encryption. We may have to deal with data breach notification laws that are different across different regions. So they are not only different across different countries, but even across the United States. In different locations, we may have different laws. Generally, we want to ensure that our contract specifies the maximum notification period to ensure timely customer awareness. Let's talk about tools that we can use for forensics. In this particular case, let's talk about acquisition tools. The goal here is we want a tool that will help us acquire a bit-for-bit level copy of our data. So a couple tools we'll briefly cover: DD, FTK Imager, and WinHex. I don't have a graphic of it on the screen, but DD is just a Linux command line utility. We're not going to go into a ton of detail on this. We just need to know that DD is a Linux command line utility that creates a bit-for-bit image of drives for forensic or backup purposes. Let's talk about FTK Imager. It's a free tool that supports various forensic image formats. It's highly flexible, allows for the creation of forensic images from physical drives, logical drives, images, folders, CDs, and DVDs. We also have verification to ensure data integrity, providing MD5 or SHA hashes. The goal here is we are verifying that there are no bad blocks. On screen, we have the output from a completed FTK Imager image. There are also times where we may need to capture live memory from a system. On screen, we have a screenshot of Imager's memory capture dialog box. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail on this last one. Sorry, I don't have a graphic for it, but we also have something called WinHex that can be a useful tool. It can acquire disk images in both RAW and its proprietary format, WinHex format. It allows for direct reading and editing of data on drives and memory. Data recovery. The purpose of data recovery is to recover data from drives and devices after inadvertent deletion or system errors. It's useful for restoring data lost through user mistakes or attempts to hide evidence. Let's talk about non-destructive deletion. The process of deletion removes the file's information from the file indexed, freeing up the space, but not actually destroying the data itself. For example, if you were to do a quick format, it would likely only remove the file index without actually overwriting the data. There are tools and resources that will go through that process. We can use anti-forensic techniques, such as overwriting or using secure deletion tools to overwrite data. That'll make recovery much more unlikely. So our best practice for anti-forensic techniques is to use secure deletion tools to ensure sensitive files are effectively removed, and not just the index. Let's talk about another core concept that just kind of fits in there. I just want to make sure you know the terminology. Again, that would be referred to as something called slack space. And what happens there is that is unallocated space on a drive that may contain remnants of deleted data. So slack space is unallocated space on a drive that may contain remnants of deleted data. Let's cover some key elements of a forensic report. The forensic report is fairly significant. It is the final report, and it is the primary product that is summarizing the investigation. The content should include relevant findings while avoiding unnecessary technical jargon. So let's talk about some typical report components. Summary. This is a high-level overview of the forensic investigation and its findings. Up next, we may have something like a process outline. This will be a description of the tools used and the methodologies. A third component would be findings. Detailed findings for each device or drive analyzed. We want to ensure that our conclusions are accurate and well supported by evidence. The final element that we may have in here is recommendations and conclusions. We want to provide comprehensive insight beyond the initial summary. In addition to our forensic report, we may have some sort of full document package that includes more detailed analysis, reports, and other supporting documentation. That was a quick one. That's all we have for Chapter 15. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you have a wonderful week.